photography related, or?
No, I actually handle all the Facebook pages, Facebook, Instagram, and lots of advertising stuff. So that's interesting. I'm doing a lot of photography stuff, a lot of traveling for cosplay stuff. Doing some product photography here and there, as you can see. And my next project is with Razer, which is a gaming laptop company where they make, they make lots of things. Oh, this class is with Gunners, but it's their brand too, Razer. But they make laptop, they make, keyboard, they make mouse, headphones. So, they just lended me a laptop. So I get to play with a laptop, and hopefully I can, see what I can do with it.
Oh, fun. Oh, by the way, is it okay if I'm recording?
Yeah, of course.
Then I don't have to take notes. You like Jeff Goldblum?
Yeah. Have you seen that one clip? It's like, people always ask me, is it Goldblum or Goldblum? And then I usually respond with, how dare you speak to me?
Good.
It's great. I like how they reference him a lot in the Jurassic World.
He was in it, right?
I'm not sure what's in it, but his book, because it's related to the first one. So I guess in the story he wrote a book about that after the whole first Jurassic Park, and then they reference that a lot in the movie.
I wish that was kind of reality, where we had dinosaur theme parks that were rolling around.
That would be pretty crazy.
It would be nuts. So, from what we've talked about before, your main gig is cosplay, or at least for now, right?
I shoot product. So I shoot lots of different things. It's usually people do not realize that because they see the very social media side of me, which is mostly cosplay stuff. But of course, I also shoot products. I shoot weddings. I actually just shot a wedding 3 weeks ago. That was great. So I'm still editing photos. I have one coming up next month. So yeah, so I shoot lots of photographers say this, they say they shoot a lot of things, but they don't really. They really specialize in one thing. But I do shoot a variety of stuff, also modeling, also specific, alternative stuff, all kind of stuff, because I want to see if I can do it. Every time when I see some photos that I like, I should ask myself, do I like it? If I say yes, then my next question is can I do something like that? If I say no, why? Now I ask myself, why can't I? What is stopping me? What is something that make me not able to achieve that? If I say yes and I like it, then why not try to make something like this? And that's how I approach a lot of my photography, especially my surreal photography.
So, where does travel photography fit into the matrix of Martin's photography world?
So I've been traveling since I was 3 years old. With parents, they really encouraging traveling, which is great. Mostly because they believe that the more you travel, the less obsessive you become about little things in life, and it's really true. The more you learn about different cultures, you understand that people are. I always say, everyone has common sense, but the idea of common is just different. That's all.
Oh, that's beautiful.
So, for example, football, American football is a very common sport here. Every, college, every high school play it, but it's not as common in other places. Football also means something else in most countries in the world.
Sure.
So, everyone grow up a little bit differently. Then you realize, not everyone's ways is the right way or the wrong way. It's just they just, grow up differently. They have different ideas, different culture, different values. So I get to travel a lot with my parents. I get to see the world. I've been to many different countries, a lot of Southeast country in Asia since I was in Hong Kong. For example, from Hong Kong to Taiwan, it's only $100. It's flying from NorCal to SoCal, and a lot of countries also very cheap. Flying to Japan is $300. So
That's nice.
Yeah. So I did a lot of traveling, in Southeast Asia, but of course we did some. West Europe too, because everyone have to travel to Europe. Paris, France, Spain, all the different ones. We also even been to South Africa, which was great. When I was pretty young too, but I remember most of it. For example, South Africa actually get very cold in the winter. When everyone think the word Africa, the first idea to them is like, oh, it's hot, you know, it's whatever they see in the documentaries. But you know, Africa is huge, you know. So South Africa was actually pretty cool. I actually get to see penguin there.
Yeah.
I remember telling that to, you know, kids in school, and they laugh at me. They don't believe that I saw penguin in South Africa. They think I'm stupid. But you know, I know what I saw, and I know where I was. So you know, those little things that you realize, you know, traveling is very, very interesting, and you learn a lot about different cultures. And my dad is actually an artist, so he always been knowing how to documenting our life with videography or photography. So he actually carry a big giant SLR with him before digital comes around. Big camera with him with film camera as I travel, as I grow up. Before I came to America, my dad actually, you know, before we leave Hong Kong, we actually get to play more photography too. I get to, you know, learn how to play with film photography, especially, you know, learning long exposure, that kind of stuff. And it was tricky back then because you don't know how the picture will turn out until you actually develop the film.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of guess, and good thing is that when I was shooting that night, there was other, you know, older gentlemen over there. You would call them senpai, actually.
Yeah.
You know, they're like, so you know, just ask them, say, hey, you know, how long should I expose my film? And you know, they gave me some tips, and I really enjoyed it. So after my when I was in high school, am I getting too far away?
No, let's go.
So yeah, when I was in high school,
I'm also like just curious about your life, so like, there's no structure to this.
So when let's backtrack even a little bit more. So when I was around 7 years old, I get to play with Photoshop, and that was great because my dad, as you know, has said that he's an artist. He believed digital is the future back then, and it is now. Now it's the future, and you know, it's really true. So I'm, you know, great visionary for that part. So I get to play around with Photoshop since I was a very young age. Since he had to use it for work. So I really understand the concept of Photoshop, layers, all kind of stuff. So I've been playing Photoshop ever since. And I played around a lot in high school to the point that the school newspaper editor saw my works and like, we need you on the school newspaper team, please.
Keep recording for.
So they made me into photographer and a photo editor for the newspaper team. So I managed the whole page. Usually great too because I get the whole back page. So I get to, you know.
That's a big spread.
Oh yeah. Every once in a while I also do back and center spread. And all the photos in there is great because I get to tell people to go get photos for me and say, hey, I can send people out for photos. It's fun. I enjoyed it. And then I realized I actually do like photography a lot. It's more than just a hobby that I kind of play around with it. So after my first summer job with Apple, you know, I made some money, so I saved up the money I used to buy a camera. So I bought a Nikon camera, a D300S with a 35mm f1.8 lens. And then, yeah, so I got to take more photos, I had to play more of it. I even invest more money into buying more expensive lens. I even got like really nice lens to begin with because I know it makes a difference.
Yeah. And how old are you at this point? Like 19, 18?
Freshman year, so it'll be 18, 19.
Wow.
Yeah. So after that, I've been taking lots of photos. And since I have a camera and in college, I don't really I don't go too much partying. But I get to go to all these events because I just bring my camera and take photos. And every time I go to any school event, I notice this one woman that also have a big camera that's also shooting around. And I thought she was a student because she always looked pretty young, but she was actually the principal photographer of the school communication department. So almost all the school materials, she take photos of them. So since I see her so much, at first I just see her, and then later gradually I give her a nod every time I see her, and then eventually I actually strike up a conversation to ask her, what do you do, who are you, and she told me about all this stuff. And then in sophomore year, she asked me if I'm interested in shooting for the school, and I was like, of course. Not only I get to shoot, I actually get paid for it. I get to post my photos for school, newsletters, emails, Facebook. I was actually in charge of the whole Facebook photo stuff because social media was really new to them back then. So no one understands how it works. So I'm the one, since I'm expertise in social media. I actually all the you see Derek's Facebook photos were mostly mine, and I control how the photos work, how the albums work, all those stuff.
There's a great amount of responsibility for a student.
It's a little bit. It's a lot of fun too, and also as a student, shooting student is great because other students do not have such. They don't get too worried about me being there. They just see me as one of them. So also there was other protests going on too. Like there was the 1% movement, the occupying movement. And all the stuff like that, and there's tents setting up. Some student was marching up to the highway to strike. So I get to be one of them too. I'm not like an outsider, so I get to shoot lots of those. So I got lots of pictures for those. Lots of them I couldn't post for the school because it's against the school. But at least I get to document them. So it's good. But I also got lots of student live photos.
Yeah.
They like my photos. My most exciting shooting stuff for school was shooting graduation ceremony, because everyone's really happy there. The parents are excited. The students are finally graduating. They all have very interesting cap. They design differently. You see them waving their arms, doing like a "I did it" sign to their parents as the parents walking from watching them from the bench. It was great. So after that, I do a lot more traveling. I graduated college. I did a lot of traveling, which I went to East Europe, like countries like Croatia.
No, totally unrelated.
Yeah.
Have you been to Romania?
I don't think Romania yet. No.
I'm trying to plan a trip to Romania with Heather Morgan and a bunch of friends.
Heather.
I want to go so bad. But anyway, so you went to Eastern Europe. Go on.
Yeah, so I went to a lot of those different countries over there. And since my photography is pretty professional at that point, I bring my cameras with me, and I took lots and lots of landscape photography, and I like it. Taking photos while traveling is very interesting, because you're seeing a world from your culture, from other culture you learn, and you want to find the difference, in those cultures, and what make this stand out, what make this would be interesting to someone else. It might be ordinary for people that live there, but for you, this is like, I have never seen this before. I don't know people drink milk from a bag, or I've never seen people, buy a carton of water or something like that. Something that is different than how you normally live.
Now, as somebody that's been raised in two cultures and has traveled since you're young, do you think that you're as attuned to those differences, that you notice them as much, or do you think that it takes a little extra effort for you to notice them?
I think it's actually made me more aware of the difference, because whenever I see something that's different, I would compare to my own background to see why did I find the difference? Why does it stand out to me? Is it because of my American culture, or it's actually my Chinese culture? Then I made me want to investigate even more about it. But yeah, so I did a lot of traveling there. I really liked it. And I actually enjoy that. I mean, there's a scary part about it too, because you're carrying very expensive equipment, So sometimes I do worry people, looking at me.
Is there any other place to eat?
I think they're closed this week. Like, there's a sign there. Yeah.
Where did you guys get this?
Oh, we went next door, grab some soda.
If you just go through this plaza, there's a lot of restaurants and places to eat.